I hope your Christmas is going well. Things are doing good in the Carr household. And now we're excited about Christmas Day. It'll be here before you know it. Wow, this year has passed by so fast. I mean, seems like just yesterday we were celebrating the New Year's. And now here we are, just celebrating Thanksgiving. Now we're about to celebrate the birth of Christ, Christmas. And then we're going to be celebrating the New Year's. I mean, 2025, it's crazy and how fast this past year went. And I want to say thank you for tuning in, to God and Country. I appreciate it very much. Thank you for all of, your help with God and Country. I absolutely appreciate each and every one of you for all the things that you've done to help get out the word, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on YouTube, Twitter, wherever it is. And of course, Facebook is our largest reach. And but I want to say thank you to all of you that helped us on God and Country as far as getting out our conservative message. One thing that I talk about often, and I mention this every single episode, every single thing that we do, I mention this right here. And this is so important. And that is your vote counts. Just let that sink in. Just look at that for a moment. Your vote counts. And that is something that I talk about all the time. Because I want all of you to understand that your vote does count. And so let's talk about your vote. We just voted back in November, and the vote was very good for Republicans. I mean, we have the White House, we have both chambers, we have a majority in the House, a majority in the Senate. I mean, things went good for us. Now, here they are right in the beginning, before Donald Trump is even sworn in, they're fighting over this bill, this budget bill. And some of the things that's in this budget bill is just ridiculous. I mean, I thought that we sent a strong enough word to D.C., to Speaker Johnson and to the rest, that we want to change in D.C. Listen, I could give a rip what some of these people want in D.C. I could care less about what some of these other countries, why we have lobbyists in D.C. that are lobbying for some of these other countries. And some of that is even holding up some of the votes as far as the reason why there's so much pork in this budget bill. And it is just ridiculous. I am becoming a huge fan of this guy right here, Thomas Massey. I'm becoming a big fan. I love this picture. His family. This is making some liberals' heads explode around America because of this Christmas picture. I love it. I mean, there he is with his wife, his family, and they're all holding some beautiful hardware, these guns, and I think it's great. Now, here's how I think the budget ought to work. I'm going to give you Dan's opinion on how the budget ought to work. The budget should not be, okay, I'm going to use simple math, right? Just simple math for all of us because I'm not the brightest guy in the world, but I just want to use simple math. We're going to take $100. Say the United States of America budget is $100. Now, we know that it's not. We know that it's billions and billions more. We know that we're $36 trillion in debt. I mean, it's ridiculous at the direction, that our nation is heading whenever it comes to the debt. I believe that the greatest threat to America is the debt. It's not China. It's not Russia. It's not Iran. The greatest threat to America is the national debt. And so we're going to use simple math, $100. Say $100 is the budget for the United States of America. And so you have all of these congressmen that are putting everything that they can inside this budget. Now, we only have $100 to spend, right? We have $100 to spend. But you have all these congressmen from all over these United States of America. You got them from California. You got them from New York. You've got them from Louisiana. You got them from Hawaii, Texas, Mississippi, Florida, North and South Carolina, West Virginia. I mean, you have all of these congressmen that are putting everything that they possibly can into this budget that is supposed to be $100. So now, not only do you have all these congressmen, and now you have all these lobbyists that are walking the halls of D.C. And so they're trying to put everything that they can inside this bill. So they're calling their congressman. They're calling this congressman saying, hey, we funded your campaign. We gave you thousands of dollars. We helped you in fundraising. Listen, we need you to put $45,000 in for this project. And we need $45 million for this project. And we need... And that's what a lot of them do. And some of them are even lobbying for other countries. Because at the end of the day, if they get $1 million for Ukraine, some of that money is going to go in their own pocket. And so we had them lobbying for other countries. And so let's come back to simple math. $100, the budget's $100. By the time they get done with it, I mean, we only have $100 to spend. Now, I don't know how your household works, but in my household, if I have $100, that's all I have. I don't have a print machine in my office that I can go and print more money. I've either got to go work more hours. I've got to pick up, some work to do for somebody. I got to do something in order to make more money for that $100, because I need $100 for my bills, but my bills are $200. So I've got to go make more money somehow. I don't have a printing machine to print more money. I've got to go make more money. But what our government is doing is the budget's $100. So now, after the lobbyists get through, after everybody gets through with their pet projects, after all the pork is put in, now this budget is now $200, not $100 anymore. So the only way they can get that money, now listen to me, I want to just make something very clear. The government's money is not their money. I get so sick and tired of hearing legislators talk about how that's their money. I want to stop right here again and just show this picture. Because it just makes liberals' heads explode. And so I just want to just show that picture again of Congressman Massey and his family. But whenever you have $100 and now the budget's $200, you've got to get that other $100 from somewhere. It aggravates me whenever elected officials talk about government's money like it's their own money. And it aggravates me even more whenever some of these same elected officials want to spend that money like it's their money. And it's not their money. Any tax dollar money, any money that the government has is tax dollar money. It is our money. Listen, if there's money there from BP, if there's money there from whatever the money is there from, that money is our money. There was an elected official just a couple of weeks ago in a board meeting was talking about this particular tax on motels. And I don't know the whole concept of the conversation, but here's what I know that this elected official said, and it just shows how ignorant that he is about taxpayer money. Whenever he said that money is not taxpayer money, that money is coming from the taxes that we taxed on motels. Now let me ask you a question: where does he think that money came from? That tax money. What does he think, that the motels are just willingly going to give the government money? No, that tax on that motel is paid for by, now hear me out, it is paid for by people. It is paid for by citizens of this nation. And so any money that the government has, it comes from, the government is not a business. The government gets their money from you and I. Now, let me say this. I wish they spent their money like they was a business. I wish they took care of their money like us small business owners have to do. We can't just blow money. We have to be very careful about the money that we spend, or we're going to run out of money. Then we don't have money to pay our light bill. We don't have money for gas. We don't have money for the things that we need. And so at the end of the day, what's important is that the government, they take our money, and unfortunately, they don't spend it like it's a business. They spend it like they got plenty of it, because that's how they act, like they got plenty of it. So they have a $100 budget. Now they need $200. They raise the debt ceiling. Where do you think that money comes from? Ladies and gentlemen, we are putting a lot of money on the backs of our future generations, because we have a Congress and we have people in D.C. that don't know how to take care of and spend money wisely. It's a popularity contest, unfortunately, for a lot of people, and we're sending popular people to D.C. instead of sending people that are businessmen and that are going to do the job and do the job right. And so I am really hoping, that some of these congressmen in D.C. will wake up and understand that the American people sent a strong message in November that we want change in America. We don't want the same old. And if they can't get the message, then I pray that every single one of these people in D.C. will be primaried in 2026. I'm not trying to make anybody mad, but I'm just stating the facts of what's happening. And Elon Musk already said it. Donald Trump already said it. And some of these people need to be primaried in 2026 if they're not going to get on board with helping this nation. I like what Thomas Massey said. Listen to this. After the failure to pass a continuing resolution, Thomas Massey calls for separating each bill and voting on them each individually instead of a big combined bill. Separate the bills and vote them individually. Individual bills for each issue. I am for that 100%. I'm for it. I've been for that ever since that was first even talked about. This is not the first time that that's been mentioned. It's been mentioned many times. And I wish that that's exactly what they would do in D.C. And let me explain it to you like this. So you have a bill, and it's to fund the military. And you look at that, you say, okay, we're going to fund the military. Check. Okay, we're going to fund parks and recreation, national parks. Check. We're going to fund the war in Ukraine. X. We're not sending taxpayer money anymore to Ukraine. We've already sent plenty of money over there, and we don't even know where that money's went. Back into the coffers of Joe Biden and Hunter. We're going to fund Ukraine. X. We're going to send money to Afghanistan to test on how certain things act with rats. What in the world? That's in some of these bills. X. We're going to study transgenders. X. We're gonna fund this country as they're trying to do this. X. All I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, I like what Thomas Massey said. Separate the bills and vote on them individually. Individual bills for each issue. I'm for that 100%. And if that bill to fund Ukraine, if it doesn't get the necessary votes, then it doesn't get funded. If that bill to give Afghanistan money to talk about rats or transgenders or whatever nonsense that they're trying to give money to, if it doesn't get the necessary votes, then it doesn't get spent. That is one way that we can really do work whenever it comes to this budget that they're talking about in D.C. that is all over the news, and they're fighting, and you got the Republicans saying, well, the Democrats want to shut down the government. The Democrats saying the Republicans want to shut down the government. Well, let's separate these bills like Thomas Massey is saying. Separate the bills, vote on the bills separately. Listen, the government will, let me just say this. It won't hurt America if the government gets shut down for a little while. Now, let's keep our military funded, obviously, but that's what they want to do. They want to put the military in there with all of this other nonsense and then say, well, if you don't vote for this bill, then you're against the military. No, I'm not against the military. I love our military. I'm against sending money to Ukraine. I'm against funding money for Afghanistan to study rats and transgender garbage, and that's what I'm against. I'm not against our military. Fund our military. Give them boys and ladies a raise. I'm for the military. I'm for cutting everything else that is being spent on nonsense. So I like what Thomas Massey said. Let's separate the bills, vote on them individually. And the government won't get shut down. The government will run just fine. And if some things get shut down in the government, then so be it. Elon Musk is already talking about, anyway, getting rid of, talking about Department of Government Efficiency. There's a lot of government that needs to be done away with. It doesn't need to be ran more efficient. Some areas of government just need to be done away with totally 100%. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching here on God and Country. And I thank you for all that you have done for God and Country. Always remember this, as I say in every single episode, that is this, that your vote does count. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. God bless you. And may God continue to bless the great United States of America.